What's up, everyone? This is the Denning Podcast. My name is Jake Denning. On this episode, I speak with Jason Hook, guitarist and mastermind behind the band Flat Black, who have signed to Fearless Records and have dropped their debut full-length Dark Side of the Brain, one of the year's best albums, hands down. It has everything you can hope for: big hooks, big guitar solos, big riffs, and just an overall complete album that you're going to love from front to back. We talk about Las Vegas, we talk about the creation of the band and how everyone came to be, and just overall the writing process in general. You're going to love this episode. I had a great time. You are too. If you are new to the podcast, definitely do subscribe and check out some of my other episodes with bands like The Ghost Inside, Magnolia Park, The Home Team, and more. And with that out of the way, this is my chat with Jason Hook of Flat Black. Enjoy.
Okay, you got me.
Man, so are you at your studio in Vegas?
Yeah.
Dude, how is it having your own studio to work out of?
It's a luxury.
It's super nice. Like, how long have you had it for?
I built this probably 2013, 14, something like that.
Oh, wow. Okay, so in like Summerlin, or are we more downtown Vegas?
No, I'm more like Southern Highlands.
Okay, nice.
Where are you?
I'm in Oregon, near Portland.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. Do you feel like you have like more, like just less pressure to get stuff done in a specific timeline, or?
Well, yeah. I mean, essentially, I never have to pack up and take anything out of here. It just lives up here, and everything is sort of hard patched, so I can just pick up a bass or I can just work, and there's plenty of inputs, and it's like 32 inputs of HD up here.
Love it. Do you have any other bands coming in to work with you at all, or?
Not well. If I'm working with them on something, yeah, but I don't. The public it's not open to the public or anything. It's only for things that I do.
Sure. I wasn't sure if it was like a money making thing where money is nice.
No, it's a money spending thing.
Yeah, I mean, I get it though. I mean, like, money has to come in so you can spend it and put out some cool stuff. I mean, stuff is not free.
I'm a bit of a gear hoarder, and so this is my little space where I can, all the latest and greatest recording equipment. I can just add it to the rig up here.
Yeah. Would you say you have anything like super duper special that you keep close by that you really go to a lot, or?
There's a lot of stuff that you can't see. There's a whole set of preamps and EQs and stuff here. There's a whole rack right over here with all the compressors and preamps and stuff. And then there's like a drum kit over there, and there's a PA system in here, and we rehearse up here. And
so the insurance has to be crazy then.
Well, this is my house.
Oh, okay.
So
perfect.
There's a huge room upstairs on the second level called a bonus room. I think it's like 600 square feet or something up here. And when I saw this house, I'm like, that's the house, because
yeah,
I can get that. I know what I'm doing with that room. I don't know what you would do with a room this big on a second level of a home, but I knew what I was going to do with it.
How often do you like get an idea near like 9-10 o'clock at night? You're like, yep, I need to like go down and track that, or at least demo that out quickly?
Rarely, because I'm a morning guy.
Okay.
So I kind of like, by the time we get to about 6 o'clock, I can't be in this room anymore. I get up early, and I like to work early in the morning, and then by the time we hit like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, I start to fade, and that's the end of it. I'm not a night guy. I'm not a night guy at all.
Yeah. I mean, so you wake up in the morning, do you like work out at all, or?
Every day. And it's, trust me when I tell you, it's not a vanity thing. It's a fear thing.
No, dude, I get it. I get it.
Things start to hurt, and you have to have problems, and you just can't even imagine not, trying to keep the the body, moving under some pressure, like you can't just sit around or you start to seize up. That's
Yeah.
really it.
Yeah, of course. And and you would know better than most because you were playing as long as like what, 2 hours on stage at one point, and then not
Oh yeah.
that doesn't you can't just do that on your own. It takes
No,
stamina.
and I think that if you don't keep a certain amount of body strength, you're more susceptible to injury.
Yeah.
Which I've also had. I've had all kinds of. I've both shoulders done, my back. Yeah, I've had a couple things.
Yeah, that's a doozy too because you guys don't have a lot of health insurance just available to you, so it's mainly out of pocket.
Well, that's the irony is that I have like very good insurance, but it still doesn't cover much.
Yeah, that
It's
sucks.
really it's only there for emergencies.
Okay. Yeah, what was the worst injury you've had?
Oh, well, I don't know if the gallbladder counts as an injury, but that I had a burst gallbladder on
Oh
tour
my
one time,
god.
which was very interrupting, and and I had to have it emergency removed, and um, my back too. I had a herniated disc, which is pretty common. But this got to a point where I couldn't even stand. So I remember being on tour, and on the days off, I was going to find cortisone injections on the days off, and they come in with a needle that's
Yeah.
that big.
Yeah.
It's like a horse shot.
Oh my god.
So that wasn't a lot of fun, but the show must go on. There's not much you can do. You can't cancel anything in this business.
No, go ahead and replicate what you can do on stage. It's not easy.
As long as the fingers work, the show goes on.
Yeah. For someone coming into Vegas for a weekend, what would you say they should check out? Because you've been in the city for so long.
I would say the Sphere.
Okay. Have you been inside so
Sphere.
far? Or?
I've been twice.
Yeah.
I saw U2.
Nice.
And I went to see Grateful Dead. Both of them I was a comped ticket.
Yeah.
Situation, because I'm not really a Grateful Dead fan, and I was surprised. But the venue and what they have done with it it's the only thing of its kind, and it's quite spectacular. I go any chance I can.
Yeah, Dead and Company is crazy live. They play for like what, 2 hour and a half sets.
Yeah, and John Mayer's in the band, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, well, this is a nice bonus.
Yeah, it was super sick. I saw them maybe 10 years ago in Eugene, Oregon, and it was just I bumped into Bill Walton, and that guy was way taller than I expected, and he went to like how many, like 300 plus Dead shows over the years. That's a record.
Yeah, I went for the visual. Excuse me. I went for just to check out the Sphere, and I think who's up next? The Eagles, I think
maybe. Yeah. I'm thinking like, so what else is in Vegas? Red Rocks Casino in Summerlin is great. Brooklyn Bowl is fantastic.
Yeah. Things to check out. The Kiss Museum.
Okay. Yeah.
And I don't even know where it is now. Last time I think it was at Stratosphere.
Okay.
But it may have moved.
Any go-to restaurants?
Oh, yeah, Barry's Prime on Fremont.
Okay. Noted. So, yeah, I know that you've talked at length about your time kind of closing out with Five Fingers, so we're not even going to dive into that. You had some health issues in 2019. Was that the gallbladder situation?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you left the band in 2020 on good terms, and then, the pandemic hit, which, go figure, who can predict that? If I went through that experience, I would have really struggled, like, big time. How did you kind of manage staying positive in a situation like that?
Well, it wasn't too bad, to be honest. The pandemic was a horrific time period, obviously.
Right.
And heavily affected a lot of people. But for me, it was kind of the opposite. I kind of, I needed to take a pause and slow down for a second.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happens that there was nothing happening with anybody. So there was no sort of that pressure to get back, to be busy, to get back in the game and all that, because there was no game, there was nothing happening, no touring. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to start working on music and point myself towards putting a new band together.
Yeah.
And
I mean, like,
here we are.
so outside of like working out, what other positive habits do you kind of employ to kind of keep in your best place?
I don't know. It's positive. I mean, I read a lot.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of audiobooks, self-help stuff, inspirational stuff, self-motivation stuff. I mean, I'm basically always just trying to figure out how to keep the razor as sharp as possible. And I work my ass off. I'm a kind of a workaholic.
Definitely. What was the best book you've read lately?
Well, there's one called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Yeah. Mark Manson.
That's pretty good. Yep. I'd have to open up my Audible list and check some stuff out.
Yeah.
I read the Desmond Child autobiography. I'm waiting on the Alex Van Halen book to come out in October. I think it's good to keep, if you make yourself read books, then you end up being a little bit more articulate and you're better at spelling and all that good stuff. And it keeps the brain has to be exercised, just like the biceps.
Yeah. Have you checked out the Libby app before?
Libby?
Yeah.
No.
So it's a library card app where it's like Audible, but you can check out books and it just pushes you to your phone. Yeah.
Like in a PDF format book?
No, audiobook. You can do both. Yeah, it can be in both. I have a Clark County library card, and I get that from there, and then I have a library card.
Too.
Yeah.
I do too, because somewhere I read that you can get something, if you have a library card, you could get something free, like I can't remember what it was, but it was free something, and it never worked.
Yeah, I went on Reddit recently and was like, oh, did you know you can have as many library cards as you want? Like, you don't have to live there. I'm like, huh, let me try that.
Yeah.
So I have one in my city. I have one in Broward County, Florida. I have one in Clark County.
For what, though?
For audiobooks and just
okay.
Yeah. So I can just, if it's busy in one area, I can just pull it from another.
Oh. Okay, well, that's interesting. So instead of like purchasing the audiobooks off of Amazon or whatever, you could see if they're for loan.
Yeah. So, I mean, takes up less space and then, yeah, less to manage.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's nice. And you can kind of check out what's popular and what's, trending, and it's a good resource. So love the library.
Okay.
But, yeah, man. So you read, you work out, and then, the pandemic lifted do you kind of keep to yourself more often, or do you kind of connect with others, or?
Most of the time I'm a bit of a loner, but I've tried to be a little bit more social lately.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to go out and do a lot of socializing after I left the old band, because then that's all the questioning I'm gonna have to put up with. But now it's fun to go out because people are aware that there's the new band.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of that. So, I'm reconnecting with all of my friends. It's really important to have a life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and what a good time it is to be you, though. I mean, like, Flat Black is such a good band. Like, I got the record from Adam Splitter, and I was like, when is he available? This album is so damn good. It's one of the best albums I've heard this year. Like, and I'm not just saying that because, I mean, I'm sure you hear, like, oh, it's a great album. No, it's legitimately one of the best albums I've heard this year.
Well, I appreciate that. You're not the first person to tell me that.
Good.
Matter of fact, if you go to like YouTube and just start reading comments on anything we've put up, people are kind of flipping out a little bit, which is, you don't know what to expect. I've been doing this my whole life, and I've certainly put a lot of things together that haven't worked. So you just try, but you can't control the outcome. So I this has been a fairly pleasant surprise, um, but I'll take it.
I
Hmm.
mean, surprise and like, I mean, I feel like you kind of have to know it kicks ass. I mean,
Well, it I don't I try not to set my expectations too high.
yeah,
I try to keep my expectations at a reasonable level because you don't want to be let down or disappointed or saddened by any outcome that you might have been hoping for.
yeah,
Um, but of course, anyone who is doing their own band or making their own records or whatever it is, I mean, we want people to respond to it the way we feel about it. That's how it works.
yeah,
We do stuff that moves us as artists, like emotionally
hmm,
moves us, and you naturally would hope that other people would feel the same way. It doesn't always work that way though, but
definitely.
I think that's what artists really are shooting for. They want to share it. I love this. Check this out, dude. This is sick. And you put Van Halen 1 on.
Yeah, I mean, so is it a stretch to say like because you're in your early 50s, yeah,
Hmm.
and you said there's like things that just haven't worked out the way you wanted it to. Would you say like if someone's pushing and pushing and trying to create something and it's just not working out, just to keep going and eventually it'll work out? Or
Well, every situation is unique, obviously. And, I'm a big preacher of just keep going. You
yeah,
know, persistence is a huge part of success. And, if I've used this before, but if you are looking for gold, you have to get up early, go to the mountain, and you take days off, and you get discouraged that there's no
hmm,
gold, and you give up. Well, then you are guaranteed 100% you will never get the gold. But it's important to get up and go to work on it.
has there been like long stretches you've taken off, like I'm just not feeling it right now, or I'm burnt out,
Oh yeah,
or
sure, sure. Like today, hence the yawning.
no, man, I
Uh,
appreciate you plugging in though. It's
well, yeah, like I mean, the press is really important at this point.
yeah,
Like we need the visibility is important. A
absolutely.
record came out just over 3 weeks ago, and the record was done in January 2023. So I've
Hmm.
been sitting on this music for a very long time, and it's finally out, which is such a relief.
Yeah, and that's be so hard though, just like it's done and you have to wait, you have to wait, you have to wait.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard for me to wrap my head around that, but the management in the label made a good argument as far as we had 0 monthly listeners when we got signed. Zero. There was no presence. Um, so the idea was that we should probably roll this thing out little
Hmm.
bits at a time over a 10-month period, to establish some visibility.
Yeah,
Like you're at zero, nobody even knows. I mean, people maybe you from your other band, but if we drop a record next week, it may go unnoticed.
hmm,
So you got to get out there and be in the public, and then after a year of that, let's release it.
for sure. Like where are we at right now as far as listeners go? Like, are we in the 100,000s at least, or
Oh yeah, we're yes, we are. When we released the Corey Taylor track, it went up to about a 250,000 monthly listeners.
perfect?
Um, and I don't know, it's growing pretty quickly. I just can't wait to get back on tour because I've watched the data,
Yes.
and it's glaringly obvious that when you're on tour, the all the odometers of listeners and followers and likes and comments, it all sort of elevates way more than when you're not touring. So it just proof that it's essential to be out there in front of people.
It's a touring world. What cities like are really popping off for the record so far?
Berlin.
Nice.
The top territories right now are, well, America, Canada, and Germany, as far as, countries.
Yeah.
Beyond that, there's always like the Midwest stuff is always does well, and then like Denver, Colorado, Phoenix, those kind of places are always big on heavy music.
Yeah. You definitely have like a signature sound when it comes to your guitar playing. How difficult has that been to achieve over the years?
Well, it hasn't been difficult at all. Because it's not something that you set out to create. I think it just happens.
Yeah.
I started playing guitar when I was 6 years old. So, for anyone who doesn't need to know how old I am, that was a long time ago. And I think that because of my age, I was influenced by players that really aren't perhaps relevant to the new modern players. I don't think 16-year-olds are jamming Richie Blackmore and Neil Sean and stuff like that. So those are my influences, and so but I grew up in an analog era where you had an amp and a guitar. There was no plugins. There was no computers. You had to tune your guitar with a pitch pipe.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I developed, my musicality came from really just years and years and years and years of playing and practicing and gigging and playing with other people and listening to records and trying to emulate other people's styles and stuff like that. And then, it took a long time, but one thing that I think that I perhaps have as a part of my style is that I care less about playing so fast and all that stuff. I'm always trying to play with what transmits an emotion.
Yeah, I would say so too. I mean, that's really cool though. I mean, I play guitar a little bit when I was in early high school and just learning with tabs and just kind of playing along to basically like pop punk stuff that was popular. But yeah, you had to go through it a totally different way. That's crazy to me.
I'm super happy that worked out the way it did, because there are a lot of fundamentals that kids will never have to travel through.
Yeah.
These days. Like basic stuff that is now, like I said, people are doing everything in the computer. You don't really have to know how to do this. There's plugins that will play every instrument for you if you don't want to play them. You don't have to learn how to play with other people. There's a whole thing about working with amplifiers and guitars and trying to figure out your sound and your tone and your string gauge and your pitch. I mean, it's a whole thing that I think that the modern guitar player isn't exposed to as much of the fundamentals like I was. I grew up reading Mel Bay, Delta Dawn, and all this shit, right? Taking piano lessons and stuff.
So music theory is like a big core fundamental that I think people should be doing early on then.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, I'm a big theory guy. I kind of wish I had a better grasp. I know the basics. But one thing I started doing a few years ago is I started taking piano lessons. And theory to me is so much easier to understand if you're learning it on piano, because everything is laid out linear and you can see intervals and understand relationships between notes and stuff, because it's all laid out. Guitar is stacked top to bottom, so it's it's not the same as having all in front of you in one line. It's pretty cool. I would highly recommend piano lessons for anyone who really wants to get into the nuts and bolts of the theory part.
Absolutely. So you talked about some of your influences. What about Nuno Betancourt of Extreme? Have you heard of him before?
Oh yeah, of course.
He has some. I mean, I feel like if people ask me like, what is Jason Shred like? I mean, that's a guitarist that comes to mind immediately. He has his own style and just goes off the walls. And I mean, he's still putting out stuff that sounds absolutely crazy at his age.
Yeah, he's a maniac.
So
he's a maniac. I just never liked Extreme, I guess. I mean, I thought he was definitely the standout musician,
Oh yeah.
and they had some hits and stuff. I just didn't really. That wasn't a band that I gravitated towards. Nothing against Extreme, but um, it wasn't really my bag. But of course, Nuno is you know, a heavy duty player for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I only know of them because I mean, I had family growing up that was really big into the '80s, like the Motley Crue, Def Leppard, and just
Right,
Extreme and Van Halen, and
right,
uh, yeah, they're having a moment again with this new album they put out, and so it's kind of
right.
cool to see them, tour and pull out big crowds and just keep it going. So there's really
Yeah,
there's no limit to age.
good for them. I mean, as far as staying in the game, it's a challenge. You know.
What are some modern guitarists that you feel like are kind of developing their own sound? Like maybe Tim Henson of Polyphia, or kind of a Jason Richardson with All That Remains, or
I kind of like, yeah. I mean, definitely Jason Richardson, of course. I mean, he's another like athlete, right?
I like that
Um,
term.
I like the guys from Avatar.
Yeah.
I think that it's unclear to me which one of them is playing the leads. Perhaps both of them are, but I think what they're doing is really good.
Okay, so Avatar then.
Yeah.
Anyone else that comes to mind, or just them, or
Well, that Mateus Sato,
yes,
that guy is he's bionic. I
absolutely.
mean, he doesn't shred electric on his Instagram, but every once in a while he will, and you're like, okay. He's more like he doesn't show off like that,
It's like tasteful
but
though.
he can. He can. I mean, he does a lot of that sort of like really beautiful, clean sound stuff with the feel or an acoustic thing or whatever. And you get the sense that this guy really knows how to handle an instrument. Like he's really in tune with his instrument. But then just the other day, he posted something that was, you know, like big amp, big sound, rock and roll, shredding, and you're like, okay, shit, he does that too.
How often are you on socials?
Well, all the time,
Yeah.
all the time, and I kind of have a love hate thing with the social media. I think that certainly having a brand new band, you can't afford to not be on social media.
Sure.
It's like a free ad channel. Um, people are doing this all day long.
Hmm.
Like they're married to this device, right? So um, you would want, it's a good tool as far as increasing some visibility. But I also find that for the creative person in me, I need to sort of shut the noise off sometimes. And there's a lot of noise that comes from the phone, not literal noise, figurative noise,
Yeah, of course.
And so that can, you can get lost in the phone reading comments and surfing through videos and all this stuff and and posting. I mean, right now we're being pretty aggressive with the social media stuff because you have to be.
Hmm.
But every morning it take at least an hour or two and post to 12 different platforms,
Which is
almost every day.
exhausting, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's 2 Threads, 2 Facebooks, 2 Instagrams, LinkedIn, YouTube Shorts, um,
TikTok.
TikTok. Thank you. Yeah, I think those are all the ones that I do. So we get a video together, and you want to put it everywhere.
Hmm. I
You
want to
know.
dig into the rest of the band. I mean, you kind of brought them together. You said in early 2020 or 2021, or
Well, it happened over a few years.
okay.
Our drummer Rob Pierce. Rob was the first musician that I started. That I added to this band idea. So Rob's been
Hmm.
around the longest, and he and I sort of built the thing together. Um, and he's just a wonderful guy and a tremendous drummer. And I'm sure everyone will be learning about him soon enough. But but looking for the singer took 2 years, and it was very frustrating and uncomfortable. you know. But look, as far as like the singer is such an important role. You just can't afford to get that wrong.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Um, So obviously they have to be great at what they do, and they have to be easy to work with. What other qualities do they have to kind of be good fits for the band?
Well, there's the creative element, you know. What do they bring to the table as far as artistic individualism?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like what are you? What do you do? What's your artistic identity? You know, and can that glue to what I'm doing?
Yeah.
And can it, you know, it's like you dropped your chocolate in my peanut butter, whatever the fuck. You take two things together and you mash it up and you go, did what we got out of that make everyone happy?
Yeah.
You know, and plus you want to have somebody who's can ramp up on the aggressive side. I wanted that. I know when you get out there on the festival stages and big audiences, and if I want to play any of the songs from my previous catalog, I need somebody who can go there. You know.
Yeah, of course. I guess so. Finding the singer, I mean, like that took a couple years. I mean, was there like multiple audition processes where like, yo, we think we got it, and then like last second just doesn't work out, and you have to kind of start all over again, and then.
Oh yeah, tons of them.
Oh my god.
Matter of fact, like in the beginning, I would go to the gym in the morning. I was listening to Spotify or whatever, Sirius XM, and I would hear somebody that I'd look down, who is that? Screenshot it, go home, get on the internet, find out who this singer or person is, contact them, direct message through one of the social sites. Dialogue starts. Yeah, I'm interested. Blah blah blah. Fly them to Vegas. Mm-hmm. They can't sing a fucking note.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh boy, it's just you know, a lot of people hiding behind computer software these days, unfortunately, and it's not what I was looking for. I wanted something that had its own magic in its raw form. You know,
that's such a tough conversation too, though. I mean, it's like time out the window, it's money out the window.
Yeah, well, I stopped doing that. You see, from that point forward, I would send a couple tracks, some completed songs to whomever, sometimes with a little like non-disclosure agreement saying that this is private material and you're not to be sharing it or forwarding it or posting it or anything like that. And then you sing the song on your iPhone, like videotape yourself singing the song and then text it back to me. Because a lot of guys would drop the track into Pro Tools and then record themselves and edit themselves on top of the track and then bounce it, send it back. And I'd be like, shit, this is great.
Sneaky bastards.
But you could tell that there was a lot of editing went into fixing it up, and you know, but you learn by doing, and I learned a lot by doing this. Yeah.
Well, and I feel like if you're willing to put up money of your own, like as a singer, like, okay, I'm willing to spend $400 to kind of put up and then prove myself. I feel like that really goes a long way too.
Yeah. Thank God it worked out the way it did.
Yeah.
You know, our singer Rex was a happy accident, really. I mean, just I had put the word out just about everybody that I know in the industry, and somebody checked back with me and said, are you still looking for a singer? And I said, I'm always looking. That was Rex, and once I heard him, I was like nobody can come after this guy. You know,
absolutely.
He's got all the elements. So
did he have a lot of lyrical writing process on the album, or was it just mainly you?
Oh yeah. I mean, the album sort of came together in stages, right? Mm-hmm. The first stage, I was completely alone, by myself, working on music tracks, and then Corey came on board, and he was gracious enough to say, well, if you don't have anyone to write with, send me what you got. So we started working on, or he completed 5 tracks of mine.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I was like, I said this morning on an interview, but I was the happiest person in the world and also the saddest person in the world because he knows that there's no chance in hell that I could do anything with the guy. He doesn't need me. He's very successful and he's got tons of things going on. Yeah. So I thought I found the perfect creative alliance here, and it's not available. You know, it's one of those things. So, but nonetheless, and I had written some songs with some other friends of mine, Keith Wallen,
Yeah, I
who's
was
a
going to mention
B.
that.
This is an incredibly talented individual, and I just love the guy. He's just a sweet guy. And so he and I wrote a handful of songs together. And then, eventually when the band was the band, then we started from there and wrote some more stuff, So it happened in stages only because it had to go that way when you're starting something new,
What was a lyric that was written not by you? They were like, damn, that's really good. We got to run with that. Like,
It was a few, but
yeah.
certainly Lightning, Unwanted. There's a song called Unwanted that was one of the first songs I worked on with Keith, and I was just like, holy shit, there's some magic with the two of us here,
Yeah. I really just like the album as a whole. It feels like a very complete album versus like just single driven. I'm sure that's kind of what you were going for.
Yeah, I'm very old school. I kind of like, Kiss Destroyer, boom.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole package there, and I don't like song. I don't want anyone to have to skip songs. Like this one's just not good enough for me to wait 3 minutes to get to the next one. I'm always trying to keep everything sort of like, I like albums where you can listen to the whole thing top to bottom, like Rage Against the Machine's first record, or like it's the whole thing is just sick,
Yeah, absolutely.
So trying to go for that,
But at the same time, I feel like you do have the singles where Lightning could draw someone in who's like maybe not super inclined to the heavier stuff, but then they get they ease their way into it.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, look, it's we're already on 30 stations in less than 3 weeks, I guess. In about 3 weeks, we're on 30 stations at commercial radio, right?
Perfect.
And the numbers are moving very quickly on that particular track on Spotify.
Perfect.
So,
is there any chance we might hear any of the other tracks that you did with Corey, or?
Well, I have to be delicate with that,
Yeah.
Every single interview I've done, people are asking me about Corey, and I start to get a little worried that I don't think either of us thought it was going to be that big of a deal, and I certainly don't want to. I haven't really talked to him about it, but I don't know how he feels about all this hoopla over us doing the song together. But as far as the rest of it goes, I mean, that's something I would have to check with him and see, how does he feel?
Yeah.
I could definitely see using the other tracks and having Rex re-sing them, and Corey therefore becomes the writer, co-writer on the track. And I'm almost positive he'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
But there's something about, like, I can't unhear his magic,
That's be hard.
It's hard. Well, I've had other people try to re-sing those songs, and it just it's just not the same once you've heard Corey sing them,
How did Fearless Records come into play? I mean, that was a label I didn't see coming at all. I'm like, okay, who is responsible for signing this band to Fearless? Because they're getting a raise in some way, shape, or form. I mean, that's a huge move.
That's very nice to say. I'll carve this out and send it to them.
Yeah, they better.
But there's a wonderful man over there named Andy Sorreo. He's the president of the label, and he got it right away. And I wasn't really involved, like early in the game. I got a new manager. I found a new manager.
Mm-hmm.
This wonderful guy, Dino Paredes from Shelter Group. He's the president at Shelter Group.
Oh, management. Okay. Shout out to them. Yeah.
Right. So, and I didn't know Dino very well, but he felt right. So I said, let's just commit and rock. Let's move forward. And so he's like, great. And he came down to the studio, and he heard the record, and then we were off and running, talking to labels. He was setting up meetings. I would just go and be nice at dinner,
Free meals, baby.
But, yeah. Well, anyway, I clicked with the Fearless guys right away. They were, they're very forward thinking and modern methodology. And and they seemed to be supportive of the idea that I was going to be captaining the ship in many departments, and they were all okay with all that. And so I was like, okay, it kind of really just going on a gut feeling. I mean, there
Yeah.
were other offers, but I felt something different with the Fearless team. And I went over there and met 50 people right after we did the deal. And I mean, I met every single person from every department, and they were all really enthusiastic and knew the songs already and had ideas. And it's been really fun,
Yeah, they're so good at what they do. I mean, they've been killing it for such a long time. I mean, I've been involved in the alternative music scene for, close to 20 years now, and just they've always been there as a long stay mainstay, just crushing it year after year. I mean, how familiar are you with their roster?
Pretty familiar now. I
Is
mean,
there a
after
band that like stands out? Like, yup,
well, certainly, Pretty Reckless is kicking ass.
yeah,
I Prevail is kicking ass. Starset's kicking ass. Wage War is kicking ass.
woo,
Um, Einstein Kills is kicking ass. So yeah, they have a pretty good handle on what's happening in modern music, and so I just thought, what a great family to be invited into.
absolutely. I'm excited for it though. I mean, so the album's been done since early 2013. You said January, I think.
Yeah, January
So
2023.
yeah, I mean, it's been like what, 12, 18, 19 months since then.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's a long time. I mean, you've been
Well,
definitely working on some things since then.
it's from then January 2024 would make 12 months. February, March, April, May, June, July, August is another 7 months. So
Yeah,
12 is,
yeah.
22 months or something. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you've been working on some stuff since then. I mean, um, this newer material, is it more of a continuation from what we heard on this record, or is it kind of different and goes a different direction? Or
What, new material?
yeah,
Well, everything that I haven't really done a lot of, most of my energy is put into sort of promoting the record and the release, right?
yeah,
And then when we're not doing that, we're rehearsing, and then we're touring, and then we're back doing more talking about the record and podcasts and interviews and stuff like that. Um, all the all the ideas for Flat Black #2 are here.
in the
I
cloud,
just
baby.
Yeah, I noodle on that thing, and I don't get too invested in um, working them up until there's a significant gap where I can focus on that.
Yeah, so does it go in like the notes folder or like Evernote, or is there like a dedicated?
Well, yeah, song titles and lyrics go into notes on the iPhone, and
Mhm.
guitar riffs and guitar parts and chord changes, and they'll go into the voice memo on the iPhone. I mean,
Nice.
Apple owes me a commission for this.
I mean, they're what? No, their developer conference just happened, so I mean, oh wow.
Well, it's a great tool.
Yeah,
Let's be
I
honest.
shout out to Notes. I mean, Notes is where it's at. I mean, that's where I have some talking points here. I mean, you're touring with Godsmack in the fall.
Again, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a relationship you've probably had for quite some time.
It's been a blessing, that's for sure. I mean, as far as you know, I was very specific about wanting to put, if we're going to go out and tour, I want to put smart miles on the band, not,
Hmm.
you know, smart miles is, if you're going to play for 4 weeks, let's play in front of 15,000 people a night instead of like 75 people a night,
Yeah,
if possible. And so we kind of held out, and we're lucky enough to get on a major arena tour. And it's worked out great. We would do free meet and greets. We'd just jump off stage, dry off, go out to the hot dog stand where the people are, and we'd put a sign up, meet Flat Black at 8 o'clock or 8:30, whatever. And we ended up meeting hundreds and hundreds of people. And I think that in itself has given it sort of an extra human connection, as far as, we're normal people.
yeah,
All these
absolutely.
people are dying to say hello, dying to I want to get their feedback. Like a lot of people didn't even know who we were, and they're like, I'm an instant fan, which is that's the kind of thing
Absolutely.
you want to feel that, you know. And so being on, there's nothing better than being on a big tour. And so yes, they are taking us out again, and we are beyond grateful. That is for sure.
I mean, so you guys get like what, Lee, 30, 35 minutes on this tour? Or?
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
Okay.
30. Yeah.
What are like the songs that you're most excited to play?
Well, we've added some headline dates
Okay.
on the run. So like they do these things, maybe they take 3 or 4 days off and everyone gets to relax, but we go and play headline shows. So on this October run, there are a handful of headline dates squeezed in between on their days off. And we're pretty much going to be learning and playing the album in its entirety. And so is there one song I'm most looking forward to? No, I just want to make sure. I have to wait and see how they go over. I like the songs that go over well with the public,
Yeah.
the audience. If the audience isn't reacting, my opinion of playing it live might change quickly.
Was there a song on the record that you weren't expecting fans to gravitate towards, where it's like, ooh, maybe the song is going to be kind of more of a priority going forward? Or...
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. There's a couple songs on the end of the record. One's like Villain.
Yeah.
Villain. I didn't even want that song on the record, but everyone talked me out of it. So, but I mean, people have pointed that one out to me more than I ever expected. And it's not that I disliked the song. I just didn't know if it had the teeth that some of the other has,
And
that's it.
That's the good thing about the record, though, is it's a complete record, and I feel like you can make an argument for pretty much every song on the record in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Well, look, if some of those songs, if they didn't make it on this record, they probably would have never been seen the light of day.
Which is tough.
Yeah, because I can already tell that we're probably going in a little more aggressive direction, perhaps. And so those songs may not fit that when we get there. So if they hadn't appeared on this one, they probably wouldn't have appeared at all. So it's fine. We had 23 songs. We got signed with 23 finished masters. So there's 14 songs on the record. So there's still quite a bit left over.
So
and
maybe a re-release down the road, like next year? Or...
Oh, well, I'd like to keep the albums coming. The model changes now. The model becomes quantity and frequency, more faster.
Okay.
You can really take your time on that first record, because nobody cares. You're nobody. You whittle away, tweak it, polish it up, change it, sleep on it, come back, tweak it again, blah, 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 blah. A couple of years go by. You've got this, here's the best I can. Well, for album number 2, you don't get that luxury.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, well, you guys have from February to May off. We need another record. That's how that can look. And I don't like that. So I'm always trying to prepare in advance, but trust me when I tell you the available time that you get or that you're given to make the second record is shortened considerably.
Well, it helps that you have stuff written for it, or stuff at least working the pipes.
That's true. That's true. And I was just, and it looks like we're gonna have some time in November and December at home.
Okay.
So I was just talking about what are our plans, and so I'm already thinking about maybe trying to get started on that.
Are there any collaborators you would like to work with, like maybe that you haven't worked with before, or someone that you haven't talked to in a while? Or
yeah, Kevin Churko.
What a great name. I like Kevin.
Yeah, he's my buddy, and he might see this and laugh, but I'm kind of I'm very relaxed about the whole thing. I think about who do you want to work with. I was talking to Russ from Steel Panther the other day, and I was like, we should get together and write something.
Mm-hmm.
because, well, first of all, Steel Panther's incredible. I love them. I love what they do. I think it's fantastic. They're my friends, and I really support them. But if you really dig deep, there's some pretty good songs in there,
Oh yeah.
and Russ is no slouch. So, and he lives in Vegas here. So I was, just shit like that, whether something comes out of it or not, who knows? But if you don't try, you will get nothing. And that is a guarantee.
Absolutely. Okay, so you got this tour in the fall, and then looking to 2025, are you looking to mainly support on bigger packages, or do you kind of want to do your own headlining run at some point for like a
Well,
full
both,
tour?
really.
Okay, both.
Both, really. I mean, it's very likely we're going to try to hit Europe
Yeah.
for festival season. And if I have it my way, we'll just be touring, whether it's opening or headlining. I think the data has shown that it's just better to be out there.
Yeah. I mean, I think you guys would crush on things like Hellfest and then, the Rock am Ring, Rock am Park.
I've done them all.
I mean, yeah, so nothing's really off the table.
No, but they're great festivals, and I would like nothing more than to be included in 2025's lineups.
Absolutely. I mean, plus the more content like that. I mean, you always see those on YouTube in full sets. I mean,
Oh,
they're great cardio fuel. I mean,
yeah.
man, you know what? I would love to see you work with Cody Quistad from Wage War.
Oh, we've talked about it.
Oh, that'd be so nice. That'd be fun.
Talked about it. I didn't know Cody very well, but obviously being label mates and he's a pretty big creative force over there at Fearless,
Mm-hmm.
and so when I hear that, I go, I got to meet him.
Yeah.
And people have been saying, you got to work with Cody. Fine, I'd love to. I mean, we bumped into each other at one of the festivals, and he said we should do something together. So I mean, anything's possible.
Let it cook, baby. Okay.
Yeah.
So hey, I really appreciate the time, man. I mean, I know you've been cooking all day, doing your thing. I'll wrap with this. What is one thing about yourself that nobody would know unless you told them directly?
I love junk food.
Okay, tell me more about that. Like, what's like
I
the go-to?
have a sugar problem.
Oh no.
Yeah. I love anything chocolate, anything caramel, anything like you gotta chill out on that stuff because it's actually
Oh
really
yeah.
it's very toxic sugar, and I'm well aware of that. But I have a hard time saying no. You walk into the venue in the morning, and you see there's like 3 boxes of donuts that are for the union loaders and the crews, and and
Yeah.
I'm going, just don't even look, don't
Son of
look,
a,
don't
like, I
look.
can't believe you're keeping it
Oh
tight. It's
yeah,
like I hate you so much right now.
yeah. Well, but I work out every day,
Yeah.
so not aggressively, but enough where I can cheat here and there on the diet. But I love that kind of stuff, and that's kind of it, really. I'm a Kiss fan, like a diehard Kiss fan. But I don't know if that's a secret.
No, I mean, that's. Have you been to? I think it's in New York. They have that Reese's peanut butter cup thing, where you like fill a gigantic Reese's peanut butter cup for like $20. Oh my god, dude!
Really?
Go on TikTok or YouTube or something and look up like it's either in DC or New York or something. It's ridiculous. It's a touristy thing, but that's a
And when
diabetic
you get a
coma.
gigantic Reese's peanut butter cup?
Yeah, you can fill it with like marshmallows or peanut butter and like it, dude. It's
Well, see, the thing is, I like it in little bits. You know, sugar is very dangerous for us.
oh
It's
yeah,
not a
so
it's
bad.
not a good idea. Yeah, I mean, cancer survives on sugar, glucose,
Hmm.
cancer cell, right? So it's not something you can just like super indulge in. But I could definitely eat a small pack of Reese's peanut butter cups. But if you gave me one that was the size of a fucking shipping pallet, I would probably pass.
But hey, yeah, I really appreciate the time. I mean, tour in the fall, new album's out right now. It's crushing it. It's a great time to be you. I'm looking forward to the tour coming through Portland. I'm hoping to make that out. And yeah,
Great.
man. But
Well, that's
yeah,
very nice of you to say that. So thank you.
of course, man. Anything else you kind of want to drop on us before we check out here?
Sure. The we just I don't know. When's this going to come out?
Next week.
Okay, so we're announcing 2 shows. Hope I get these right. October, September. Fuck, I can't hear. It's one of them. One of them is I'm blowing it. I don't remember the dates, but we have 2 headline shows that we're announcing this coming Friday. and it's very embarrassing that I can't remember. But one is Boise, Idaho, and one is Columbus, Ohio. Thank you.
Nice.
Good God. Yeah.
Hells yeah.
Yeah. So it's right here. It's Columbus, Ohio, September 29th, and October 14th is Boise, Idaho.
Okay.
And the other thing I want to mention is that the CD and the vinyl come out October 25th, and they have side 4 live from Edmonton. So that includes a live album.
That would be sick. I mean, I love the live stuff. I mean, I had that Five Finger, whatever the live record that happened way back then. That was tight.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
good. I like nobody buys records anymore. I mean, I get it, but I figured if we're going to put physical product out, we might as well put a good chunk of bonus material on there,
Yeah, of
so
course.
there's an incentive to maybe just even have the physical.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Are
so
you guys
there it
saying
is.
what's up on the tour, or are you guys kind of seeing what's playing it by ear, or
Oh, as far as what we're playing?
the meet and greets? Are you guys like doing meet and greets after your
Oh,
set, or you kind of
yeah, I think so.
cool?
I mean, in a normal scenario, they can sell meet and greet sort of packages
Yeah.
where you get some swag and a poster, and you get to walk around the stage and peek your head in the dressing room or whatever they do. But that wasn't really important to us right now. I think it's more important that we just be present with the public, just to develop some relationships, with the people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that's the plan. It's just we'll play, dry off, go hang out.